All right, it is 5 o'clock. Thanks everybody for being here tonight for our work session for next week's council meeting. First on our agenda for next week will be two presentations that were requested by council members for Hands Across Decatur and the Best and Brightest for appropriations for the FY24 budget. Then we'll have approval of minutes. Any questions on those? Public hearings, ordinance 234565, approved rezoning for a tract of land containing 1.41 acres more or less from M1 Light Industry District to B5 Central Business District located at 211 First Avenue Southeast. Public hearing was set for August 7th, 2023. Chris or Dane or whoever was to talk to us.
Good evening, y'all. This is the farmer's market property. This is just a rezoning to eliminate some of the non-conformity that exists between the farmer's market and the current zoning district, so this will clean that up.
Okay, any questions? All right, resolution 23-236, approved request for Class 1 lounge, liquor, beer, and wine on-premise license for Chow's Seafood, Decatur Incorporated, doing business as Red Pier Seafood and Steak at 1208 Beltline Road Southwest.
This is a change in ownership.
Did the previous owner have, did we approve this? Okay.
They did.
Any other questions? All right, resolution 23-237, approved request for special event liquor license for the Hennessy wedding reception from Burning Tree Country Club at 2900 C Point Mallard Circle, Decatur, Alabama on September 16th, 2023.
And this is just a special event license for a wedding. They're gonna hold it at TC Allman.
All right, any questions? All right, resolution 23-250, approved Las Villas final business license suspension or revocation.
Okay, they have not made any more payments since the last council meeting that we were at. Right now, the amount's $5,518.19, and the July payment for sales tax did not make it through the bank, so.
Okay, has there been any communication?
We have reached out and spoke to them, and the last thing that I was told is I'll be in before the end of the month to pay it.
Okay. Any questions? All right, weed abatements, David, anything?
No, sir, no change.
All right, any questions? All right, resolutions, resolution 23-249, approved request for revocation of business license for TO1 Mexican Grill, 1318 6th Avenue Southeast, Decatur, Alabama, 35601.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I promise this is the last one. I've checked every other person in the city of Decatur. This is the only other one who is not current on their taxes. However, this has been ongoing since September of 2022. That we've been trying to get them to pay the taxes, and there's been ongoing correspondence, and I've sent my code enforcement officer out on numerous occasions. Originally, we were told that they were paying it to Morgan County instead of the city. We've come to find out that's not the case because we were waiting for a refund, which did not happen because it was not paid to Morgan County. So at this point, they are almost a year out of paying any sales or liquor tax, and they have revoked on their liquor bond as well.
How much is their owed amount?
We don't know because they won't give us gross receipts. They would have to give us gross receipts each month for us to be able to figure the taxes on it.
But we've received nothing.
We've received nothing since September 2022.
Oh, wow, okay, all right, oh.
I can tell you, going back looking from a year, you're probably looking at close to 300,000.
Excuse me, what?
If the same were effective for their gross receipts. That's estimating.
How much he owes us, $3,000?
We don't know that for sure. I'm saying if you estimate what he paid the years prior, you would say it might be in that amount. I don't know if they're doing it significantly less, which is why they're having trouble paying. I don't know, since they won't give us the gross receipts.
Oh, wow, okay, all right, well.
Did you say 300,000?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
That's
That's just based on previous.
I mean,
That's
that's
just based
estimates.
on
I
the
understand
rough
that's
estimate,
estimates.
yeah.
I just was curious if that's what you said.
No, that's not the license. They do have the license. They just have not paid their liquor or sales tax.
Okay.
if that is the case,
It's hefty.
that's a pretty penny.
But you always want to work with them, because if you close them down, then you're definitely not going to get anything, because they're not getting any revenue. So we've tried diligently to work with them to get this resolved, but just have not been able to get anywhere.
Have they given you any other excuses besides that they've paid Morgan County? Have they?
We're coming to pay, we're coming to pay, we're coming to pay.
So let me ask though, if they lose their license,
Mhm.
is there anything to stop them from simply starting a new entity under another name?
No,
So they just could roll this over and
But-
wash, rinse, and
if
repeat?
we
But
did
they
not
would-
know that, if we knew that, obviously we would not approve that liquor license at the new place. But if we did not know that, then yes, or could they go to a surrounding city? Yeah,
That's a criminal
yes.
action, not paying your tax.
Yes, sir, without getting into too many more details, they didn't do much better. They didn't show up for municipal court either.
Right.
So if they didn't show up for municipal court, why
So,
don't they have
yes,
warrants for
they
their
could
arrest?
open a new business.
They did
but-
swear out a warrant for his arrest, but, the workers that are working at Tier One are saying that he is in Mexico. He's not here.
Okay, all right.
All right, any other questions? Thanks, Lori. Resolution 23-251, approved vacation 54623 Stogie Holdings and Trinity Properties, request to vacate a 15-foot wide alley right-of-way. Location is 609 Bank Street Northeast.
This request was recommended by Planning Commission for approval, and this is the property directly behind Stogie Holdings in that unused alleyway. It's the 50 feet along their property.
And we're retaining,
We're retaining a utility drainage and telecommunications easement on their property.
all right, any questions? All right, resolution 23-252, accept 2023 pass grant for Old State Bank renovations.
Yeah, Alan Stover, Community Development Manager with the City of Decatur. This is a grant that we received from the Historic Commission. It's a $482,356 grant to do renovations at the old bank. If the council remembers, we're in the process right now of getting a historic structures report, and we're working through that. So we will take, once we get that finalized, we will then take that and do what we'll go as far
Use
as
some of
the
this.
renovations. It
Okay,
will not do all of them.
Yeah.
It won't, but it will do some
there's we think there's foundational,
foundation,
Issues.
yeah, so some structural, and then the and that probably caused part of that upstairs where we closed that off to, so
yeah.
we'll do as much as we can, and we'll get this to go as far as it will.
Okay, any questions? Resolution 23-253, accept 2023 port security grant.
Yes, this is a port security grant from FEMA to purchase the fireboat. This will require a $175,000, $857 match, which is included in the 2024 budget. I do think, and Chief can speak to it some, but I think that what's pressing is we're trying to get the PO and trying to do a down payment to get that, at least those renovation, or get in line to prevent, before the price increase. So there may be where we might have to do some budget revisions to make that, to get the initial purchase, or to get the down payment, to get that started, but I'll let the chief go into that.
Hey, as Alan said, when we called to go forward with what we needed to on the boat, on the purchasing part of it, they're gonna have up to a 10% price increase October 1st. So this it'll be about $70,000 just in a price increase if we don't go ahead with it before October 1st.
Okay, any questions? All right,
Yeah, the grant does, it actually starts September the 1st, so, everything will be good, but there may be some budget revisions that we need to get with Kyle to get some of that match money at least budgeted in this year's budget.
Okay. All right, thanks, Alan. Resolution 23-254, award bid number 23025R to replace HVAC unit at Fire Station 4.
This invitation to bid went out to 21 vendors. We received 3 responses. We opened on August 9, and we are recommending SMS Mechanical here.
All right, any questions? All right, resolution 23-255, award bid number 23024 for demolition of TC Allman and Point Mallard Pavilion structures.
This went out to 31 potential vendors. We received 3 responses, open on August the 17th, and we are recommending Southern Recycling and Demo.
All right, any questions?
Any idea on the spread there, Jeremy?
Yeah, I printed some off to pass down. Something got cut off. We're gonna obviously repair that, but the numbers, if you want me to go through it really quickly, SMS was at, Southern Recycling was at 129,000. And then we had one at 186 and some change, and one at 415,000 and some change.
You think they're netting?
Was that, yeah, was that cost of, I mean, they're gonna recycle all that, they're gonna sell all that for scrap, so is it scrap prices you think that cause the biggest difference, or? It's a pretty
It's a big gap.
gap.
This proves why we need multiple vendors, or multiple people bidding sometimes, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Southern was showing a $20,000 value of scrap is what they were calculating on their bid.
All right, any other questions? All right, resolution 23-256, approve the purchase of HVAC unit 1 for DYS Aquadome location.
This is to replace one of the other units. There's 4 units that sit on top of the Aquadome. We've had 2 of those, which has been the conversation up to this point. We had another one go out, which is the number 1 unit, which is the one that sits closer to, when you're driving by, you see it from the road closer to the gym side. So, but it's been recommended to be replaced.
It has impact on a room or maybe plural rooms in
Right.
the Aquadome area.
Yes, sir.
All right, any questions? All right, resolution 23-257, approve the purchase of artificial turf for the sports complex on Modus Road.
This is for, we met with Turf Sports and went over many different kinds of turf. This turf has a cooling that they put on it. So with a lot of the different kinds of turf, you'll hear, well, it gets hot or it gets, or whatever. This one we've had the most success, and it's also a turf that it plays really realistic for softball, but it is a really good soccer surface as well. So it allows you to play multiple sports on the multi-use field. We have some. Take one and pass it down. This is the most current drawings, and if you'll notice, the first 2 fields on there are multi-use fields, and then there's a 4-field complex, looks a lot like Wilson Morgan. Those multi-use fields are the ones that we can use for multiple different things, so gives us 2 more soccer fields to use with Jack Allen. We can do 7-on-7 there, or we can do lacrosse. But they also make really good softball fields. They're good for tournament play for softball. There's been NCAA tournament stuff played on similar fields, so we feel comfortable with it.
And there's some, up to some level of baseball that can play on these fields.
Well, what you get into is you rather want them fast, and there's different types of turf, and you can speed it up. These are not fast. Now, they're not the slowest, but we definitely, for youth sports, don't want something that plays really fast.
Yeah. All right, any questions? Thanks, Jason. Well, you got more. Resolution 23-258, approve the purchase of a modular bathroom building for the covered pickleball facility, and the same is the next resolution for the tennis facility.
The biggest, I guess, thing is, I talked to Councilman Masters about this a little while ago, as far as the cost of it is, I've spoken with almost everyone on this council about different projects. I would love for all of them to come in at a cheaper cost. But I talked to 2 different architects. I've got calls into other folks. If I can find something cheaper that is the same quality, I'm all for it. I don't know the folks that got the bid, any of that, just trying to pick the best thing for the best price.
There's something about bathrooms, because we.
Bathrooms and kitchens.
Kiwanis, you know, we did the Spirit of America, and it's a bathroom, and when we got that plus the grant it took to build it, I was thinking, you could build a 10,000 square foot house for this amount of money, but,
Yeah.
anyway, concrete and plumbing, I guess. All right, any questions on those 2 resolutions? So you're just saying between this week and next week, if there's something,
I'll pull it off if I find something better. I'll be happy to communicate with anybody that has any suggestions, but we're looking into it. But it took us 3 months to find these.
yeah,
And so we went through several different prices. Luckily, thank goodness, Jeremy's been a big help. This was on a co-op, so it doesn't have to go through the bid process. So we know this is the amount that anybody would pay for it that was buying it. It's just, maybe there's something else that fits, maybe something per square foot. And those are questions we're asking every day right now, so.
okay. All right, thanks, Jason. Resolution 23-260, approved budget amendment for fees to submit Reconnecting Communities and Neighborhoods DOT grant application on behalf of the city of Decatur, Bill Sims Trail and Singing River Trail. And John and Dr. Sims, or whoever would like to come speak, can let us know what this is for.
Hi, my name is John Kovach. Excuse me. I'm the executive director of the Singing River Trail. And what we're looking at is the possibility of being able to access substantial funding through a DOT grant under Reconnecting Communities and Neighborhoods. And for us, this would really be an opportunity to take existing trails through the Bill Sims Trail, create new trails in areas that don't have connectivity, and take it from Point Mallard through Rhodes Ferry all the way out to Ben Davis Elementary School. We feel like this is the best way of reconnecting a downtown and an old town that's been divided by railroad and other, other obstacles. And this was the whole idea of the Biden administration, is that this would be creating avenues for people to reconnect through non-motorized connectivity. And for us, we feel with the city of Decatur, the Bill Sims Trail and the Singing River Trail, with a September 28th deadline for, again, a pretty substantial amount of funding opportunity with no match, which is unusual, that the best way to go forward would be to hire Alta Planning and Design to write the grant with us and participate with the city and really get this moving forward as fast as possible.
So this is, and Kyle, this is hospitality room occupancy fund. And John, can you just speak to Alta's experience and kind of the way you work with them and why they're a good fit for managing the grant?
Yeah, absolutely. So I took this job in August of 2020, and I used Alta as my planning, pretty much my program management component of the Singing River Trail. Having been using them now for 3 years, we've actually now had almost $8 million in other grants around the trail system in Cortland, Town Creek, Leeton, Gurley, on and on and on. So for us, this has been a great way of working together with a group that's really recognized as a nationwide leader. And I think it's important to understand that if we could find homegrown Alabama firms, we will use subcontractors. But for us, we want this grant, we want to win this grant. We don't want this to be academic. And so for us, what we've done is we oversee what they really do on the field, in the field, and really what they do with each community. We're there as we are today. And so for us, this is just a really natural fit where we've worked with them really hand in glove for the last 3 years.
All right, any questions?
What's the potential grant amount?
So right now, the grant amount that we're probably looking at is probably somewhere between $8 and $15 million. but it could be a little bit more. It depends. We were looking originally at $20 million, but one of the things I think it's important is you want to ask for the right amount. You don't want to ask for too little or too much. And so for us, I think it's going to be somewhere in that sweet spot of $8 to $15 million, which they're doing the work right now. So that's why we're here today, because the work is being done in good faith towards this grant.
So help me with this. I know there was an appropriation, I think, federal money from that Congressman Adderholt got. That funding would go toward his district. Is that kind of how, and then if we were awarded this, would go toward the city?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, yes. And so what you're talking about is the federal appropriation we got from Robert Adderholt's office. And we're in the process of doing that right now. And we've already had a face-to-face meeting with Representative Strong, and he is in firm agreement that this is the best foot forward. And in fact, his staff has already reached out to us to write letters of recommendation and do the things that we have to get done. So he's already on board, as his staff is too.
All right.
It's actually a raised grant?
No, it's a DOT grant, but it's not a raise grant.
It's one time, right?
This is a kind of a unique situation. It's I think $3.6 billion pot of money that they normally would probably separate into 5 different rounds of giving. And this time they're doing one round. If the project qualifies and it's good, no match. This is an opportunity that doesn't come along very often.
And I think the hospitality board has approved the 50,000, and then there's 25,000 that I think CBB is.
Yeah, and so that $75,000 fee would be towards Alta.
Yeah. All right, any questions? Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Resolution 23-261, approve FY24 job classification pay plan changes. Michelle?
Rochelle, Human Resources Department, based on the feedback from the majority council last week, the board recognizes the need to move forward with the revised proposal for 3% COLA and adjustments only to pay grades for the fire service classifications. And let me just clarify, there's information out there that says firefighters will start at 3rd in the market. That is not accurate. They will start at $49,599, be at $52,000 at the end of the first year. That puts them above 2nd. This is limited scope. It's not an across-the-board raise. These situations never are. And these would, we recommend this becomes effective October 2nd.
All right, any questions? All right, resolution 23-262, approve SRO updated agreement with Decatur City Schools. Chief?
Chief Pinion, Decatur Police Department. Annual SRO agreement, MOU with them that we've done the last couple of years. This is actually for 2 years, so.
All right, any questions? I think there were some minor changes, but nothing.
It's about retired.
Yeah.
Yeah, about the retired pay that the legislation approved
Yeah.
for the raises that they're gonna cover that side of it.
Yeah. All right, any other questions? Thanks, Chief. Resolution 23-263, amendment of urban renewal covenants R74 for public building use on parcel 6-3.
Yes, that's the lot next to the brick, which the Alabama Community College System has made a request that we provide that lot so they can put in a dance and music studio that will benefit, of course, our area, but Calhoun, Athens State, and Decatur City Schools will be participants in that building. The actual deed will go to the community college system for the benefit of John C. Calhoun Community College, but that's what it does. This basically, under the covenants that were put in place when we did the urban renewal back in the 1970s, it restricted it only for a parking lot. This amendment will allow public building use and more definitively what I just described, dance, music, academy, or studios.
And the reason for that was there was no parking requirements in that zoning.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I, of course, I've been around a while, but I wasn't here for that one. But you have to think that they saw a need for a parking lot in that area, and now with the, of course, with the parking deck across the street, that use is no longer probably needed. And this also allows us to have an extension of the fine arts complex. That's what this does. Then you'll see at the end of the agenda, the other item which deals with the deed, which authorizes the deed to be conveyed to the Alabama Community College System. So they're tied together. You don't need to do the last one if you don't do this one, because they can't use it for what they want to use it otherwise.
All right, any questions? All right, resolution 20, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll hold that.
Resolution 23-264, approve relocation of voting centers.
Yes, Stephanie Simon, City Clerk. This is to change two voting locations, the Decatur Fire and Rescue Station 8 to Burning Tree Country Club and TC Almond to Point Mallard Event Center. It needs to be approved by y'all. Then from there, the county commission will have to approve in order for it to go into effect for the elections next year.
Now, why are we changing the one at the fire station? Because, I mean, the description didn't actually give a reason for us changing that.
The fire station, we always have to, in the last few years, we've had to rent air conditioners. The parking is not great there. And so the Burning Tree Country Club, it gives additional parking, easier entrance, exits, better access.
Well, and we've had numerous subdivision developments in that area as well, with more projected.
With more, yeah, as well as that.
People that would vote there.
I also say on the fire station, we had to build a temporary wall, and the judge's office has to come and bring that wall, set it up, and we have to shut the door down, and they don't bring the air conditioners in, so it's like a temporary wall to keep that heat, bring it cool while people are voting, so I think that's good.
But when we built that, station chief, that was part of it, that it serve as a community center, that it actually accommodate the voting, and I understand the amount of growth. I don't know that it's gonna be that extensive, but, that was the intent of it, correct? Well, I was here, but that was the intent of it. Okay, thanks.
All right, any other questions? All right, resolution 23-265, authorize mayor to apply for Children's Trust Fund Family Matters Program Grant.
Yes, this is a grant, yearly grant that we apply for through the Children's Trust Fund. And it just allows youth services to assist in professional development, counseling, mentoring for Decatur families. And it also helps toward prevention of abuse and neglect.
All right, any questions? And it's gotta be done, I think, for the 15th.
Yeah, it's due September the 15th.
All right, ordinances first reading, ordinance 23-4567, approve revised urban forestry ordinance tree board. Harmon?
It basically, for several months ago, a resident appeared our residents appeared with a concern about a tree that had fallen in that area. So this will allow flexibility. You would not only would city staff be involved, but then if the residents are not pleased with the decision of city staff and they want a tree down, even though the rating of that tree doesn't reflect it needs to come down, then they can come to the tree board and ask them, and then they would be required to pay for if it was approved, to pay for the cutting down of that tree. And the reverse is true. If the city decides that a tree needs to come down, then a resident could go and say, we don't want it cut down. But they would have to basically indemnify the city against any damages that tree may cause. So that's, but this just sets up a tree board that it's part of our urban forestry ordinance, but I put in parentheses tree board because that's the major change to it. Urban forestry has been in place for some years. But if y'all would look at it, let us know. This is just introducing it at this next meeting, and we can adjust it accordingly.
All right, any questions? All right, ordinance 234568, approval of conveyance of parcel 6-3 at Alabama Community College System for construction of dance studio and training center.
All right, if the, what we just described, if the covenants are approved, then those covenants would go to the planning commission for their review and approval, and also to the housing authority. The reason for the housing authority is that when this property was deeded, it was deeded by the housing authority, and they put in the covenants that approval was necessary. So in order to be cautious and do what I think we need to do, what we think we need to do, we would ask that they approve it also. But this actually approves the conveyance of the property at no cost to the Alabama Community College System for the dance and music studio. So we do not anticipate what it means is y'all find a public purpose in this, 23,000 square foot complex being placed there for the benefit of, I already said, John C. Calhoun, Athens State, and Decatur City Schools.
Plus, use for an event center.
And it would also be a complex for, as part of that, an event center, yes, sir. That's right, 23,000, I believe that's right, 23,000.
Any questions? All right, our meeting next week on Tuesday, right? All right. All right. Nobody come.
We're gonna miss y'all Monday.
Yeah. Tuesday, we'll have our work session at 5:30, and the council meeting will start at 6. Anything else from city staff? Jason?
We had, I have two things. The first is at the OSB, the Old State Bank, we have a HVAC issue. They're resolving that now, but I've already been told that it's going to take a new unit. They're just trying to figure out, Carolyn, is there, you can't just put anything in there. So we're trying to make sure that whatever we do is up to speed, what we're supposed to be doing. So once we get that information, we would like to have that added to the next, to.
You saying you have to have a historically?
I was just about to ask.
Air conditioner?
I didn't say that.
Is they already have to approve it?
I've just learned to ask, so, yeah. The other one is there was a topic brought up, last time I was up here about, our mowing. And we've had some really positive, conversations with them since then, where we feel like we have come to some resolutions as to how we can move forward. But to do that, we'll need to put a resolution in, to move forward. So we would ask if we could put that on this agenda as well.
What is the resolution?
It will be on the next, on this coming Monday, but it'll be a path to move forward, through the purchasing process, possibly with another vendor.
They're trying to fix the issue that was brought up, or I think y'all have had ongoing.
Right.
Okay.
But they want it to be right. We know it's not what it needs to be. So, I feel like there was enough conversation in place to where we can move forward, but we're finalizing that right now. But it would be great because it would help us start it quicker if we could get it on Monday or Tuesday.
That's fine. We need to do that. All right, anything else? Mayor?
No, sir.
Anything else from council? All right, we're adjourned. Thanks.